Okay, so yeah, thank you, Piper. What an honor to be introduced by you, a truly creative and inspiring young man. So Kuiper and I met a few weeks ago, and I was immediately struck by his passion for art. He also shared with me a moving poem about his mother's refugee's journey by boat, a poem that he wrote, an experience close to my own as I too was a child refugee, following the fall of Saigon. Just last week, we commemorated the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War. Bittersweet moment in history. Bitter because Vietnamese diaspora lost our homeland of South Vietnam, and the war claimed the lives of 3.8 million people on all sides, half of them civilians caught in the crossfire, along with countless Southeast Asians who perished during their journey at sea. It's sweet because we are still here despite all that was lost. We continue to stand, to thrive, to tell our story. Young artists like Kuiper, full of life, creativity, and a deep understanding of the human experience, gives me hope that we have lost our way. I also want to honor Kuiper's parents for nurturing his creativity and encouraging him to pursue the arts. We are among Asian parents. And as we all know, creativity is central, not just in art, but in life. Next slide. Growing up, I didn't have a program like First Exposure, but I was lucky to attend a good high school in San Jose, where I met my first art mentor, Miss Shelby Brown, an incredible photo teacher. Shelby changed my life, and we still keep in touch today. With the arts increasingly cut from our education system and diversity programs under threat, I worry about the next generation's ability to understand who they are and how making art can empower them. That's why I'm deeply grateful for First Exposure. Their mentorship programs uses the power of photography to nurture young artists, helping them discover their voice and potentiality. At its heart, First Exposure is about caring for the mentors and the mentees, supporting them to thrive, giving them the space to express themselves, and building community through the arts. To all the hardworking staff at First Exposure, thank you for giving young people a voice. Tonight is our opportunity to show you how much we care by giving back. So here's the fabulous evening together. Hey, next slide, here we go. So this is the point where I'm going to talk a little bit about my art. So my journey with the camera began early. I first picked up a camera in the 5th grade on a class camping trip. I made a journal of that trip and still have the photos today, as you can see. Well, that's not can we go back to that photo? Okay, thank you so much. Even as a 10 years old, I realized that photography can record our lives and help us hold our memories. So fast forward 4 decades and here we are. So yeah, next slide. When I set out to become an artist and began researching my subject matter, I made it a point to collect cultural materials that could deepen my understanding of the history I was exploring. For example, in my collecting memories about the Vietnam War, I gathered Life magazine and personal photographs taken by soldiers and civilians during the war. These artifacts become part of my exposition and are shown alongside my work. Next slide. And I traveled to some of these historical sites that I have seen in these photographs, standing in very places where these images were once captured. Those photographs helped me not just to see the history, but to feel it. For example, here I am in Laos, witnessing the remnants of the Vietnam War. Thousands of bomb craters are still visible on the land today. And for me, the bomb craters are like scars or reminders of past, the natural process. Art has the power to heal and to reveal. To help further this idea, I developed a printing process called orphic. Next slide. I used pictures I found in my research to print onto leaves using the light sensitivity properties of the leaves chlorophyll. I thought, what if the plants could witness these horrific events? What would they remember? What would they say? and how could they teach it? We learned in school that all matters is composed of atoms and particles. That is, atoms rearrange themselves according to the law. All those atoms that compose us carry memories of each back to the beginning. Next slide. They were involved in many conflicts before the Vietnam War. This project deals with an idea I call elemental transmigration, the decompositions of matters. The war became part of the landscape of nature and everything. Next slide. These days, the Vietnam War is always on my mind, even when I head to the National Park TV. Next slide. Oh, can I wasn't sure how to, okay, there we go. I didn't want to break it. As a child, Yosemite only existed in my imagination as I saw images in photo books like those by Ansel Adams. And one day, while browsing through a photographic trade show, I found a tintype of 3 Chinese men posing in front of a studio factory. Next slide. This image makes me wonder how the Asian bodies fit into the American landscape. During the California gold rush, Chinese labor laid the railroad tracks and dug the mines to fulfill. But many of those depictions were written out of mainstream history. Next slide. After several years of practicing the daguerreotype process, I have a new wave of visualizing an old photographic subject. Making daguerreotypes of the national parks allows me to insert my viewers into the landscape as a form of citizenship, as if to say, you belong here. Next slide. This is the artist Brandon King, who was once my mentee, reflected in the Roosevelt Arch at the north entrance. I waited several hours for the sun to illuminate the quote above. The top of the arch is inscribed with a quote, for the benefit and enjoyment of the people. Next slide. The daguerreotype does not represent reality the way we see it. Silver crystal produced prismatic colors and shifts between blue and pink. And today, daguerreotypes are obsolete as a form of commercial. And in that way, they are indeed an art form. Next slide. One of my favorite rock formations in Yosemite Valley is Three Brothers. How many of you have seen Three Brothers?
Yeah.
Great, wonderful. It is reflected in the waters of the Merced River during the late summer season. In 1851, the Mariposa Battalion named this formation Three Brothers after the capture of Chief Tenai's 3 sons near the base of a rock. The Mariposa Battalion was formed to defeat native tribes in the California genocide. Next slide. 100 years later, in 1955, the Vietnam War started. Here's a portrait of my mother carrying my brother and me in a refugee camp. I call it 2 brothers and a mom. The war-torn consequences of refugees fleeing are in American stories imbued into our landscape far and near. In closing, thank you for being here tonight and for recognizing the vital work of First Exposure. Thank you to the mentors and mentees and teaching artists for sharing your love of photography. Thank you.